hello there. Bithead 1000 here. Well, we just got in from the thrift store, my favorite thrift store, Unique, out in Westbury, and we picked up some things. So let me show you what we got. Okay, guys, there's 3 things in this bag, and we'll start with the order of importance. First being the least important, to the third one being the most important. Okay. Let's get right to it, huh? Okay. Now, I've been on a non-stop quest to find wires for my Nintendo 64, component wires, and I thought I found them. I found this this component wire set, and it said on the connector, Nintendo. Now, this is obviously not for you know, like an NES or something like that. But I looked at the connectors on the back of my Nintendo 64, and I noticed that if you look at this plug right here, see how the top is rounded and the bottom is flat? Well, the Nintendo 64 has a rounded top and a rounded bottom, just like the Super Nintendo. So I'm guessing this is for a GameCube, maybe. Anyhow, paid $249 for it. I don't really like to pay that much for a set of component wires, but I really wanted to start doing some reviews with the Nintendo 64. So I jumped on it. But normally I don't like to pay more than $2, like $1.99 for a set of component wires. Anyhow, so I mean, if we find a GameCube at the thrift store and it doesn't have a set of wires, we have them. So whatever. All right. The next find was your standard Nintendo NES joystick. Now, I don't know, I see this crap and I just wind up buying it. It was $1.99. I mean, I can always use another Nintendo joystick. We don't have a Nintendo yet, but I'm guessing if we do find a Nintendo, maybe it won't have a joystick. Maybe it'll only have one joystick. So now we have 2. And Nintendo joysticks are pretty tough, so I'm not worried about it being broken or anything like that. All the buttons feel good, so there we go, Nintendo joystick. Now guys, this one right here, this one's a heart stopper. When I walked in, I saw this from a distance and I said, it can't be. I said, it can't be. Look what we got here. An Atari Lynx. Now, this is one of my top 5 favorite systems of all time, the Atari Lynx. And I can remember when I first saw it. I know a lot of people, a lot of people have a mixed opinion about the Atari Lynx, but I mean, this girl right here is one of my all-time favorites, and I'll tell you why. When I first saw the Atari Lynx, I was at a house party, and I remember some kid was playing this thing, and I said, I went and took a look at it, and I was immediately blown away. I mean, he was playing Blue Thunder, which is like an arcade type flight simulator, and I mean, this thing has a liquid crystal screen on it, and if you look at this one, it had this cover on it. The rest of the Lynx is beat. If you take a look at it, it's real dirty. All the paint's worn out on the plastic, which leads me to believe that whoever had this got plenty of use out of it. But it has this screen cover on it, and you take this off. It's not a cover, it's actually a shade. I mean, the screen is like in mint condition. I thought that was awesome. But this has a liquid crystal display, and now, for the time that this came out, I'm not sure of the year. My video game history isn't that polished. But I'm not sure what year it came out, but to have a color liquid crystal display was like unheard of. It was unheard of. So if you guys can imagine when this sucker came out, I mean, it was phenomenal technology. And it was 16-bit. I mean, you look at the screen and it looked almost three-dimensional. It was really, there was a real wow factor with this thing. When you consider that the only other portable game system out at the time was the Game Boy, I mean, this was head and shoulders above. I mean, at the time this came out, there were only other 16-bit systems out, like the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and the Turbo Graphics. So to have 16-bit in the palm of your hand was insane. And oh, jeez, I remember the games for this thing. Slime World, guys. If you have an Atari Lynx, you gotta have Slime World. I'm not talking about the Slime World for the Genesis. I'm talking about the Slime World for the Lynx, where you can link up with your friends and play multiplayer. And you haven't lived until you've dropped a mega bomb in the same room as your buddy and then hit the road. Let me tell you something. Great games for this. Zola Mercenary, probably one of my top 5 shooters, spaceship shooters of all time. Zola Mercenary was an insane game with great graphics. I mean, the graphics today, they hold up. And I remember, and the music was unique about this thing. Everything about this thing was unique for the time that it came out. And it's very hard to get a good idea of what the Lynx looks like when you're searching around online, because you're basically watching games that are played through emulator or probably played with with a camera on the screen, and you just you can't get a good idea of what it looks like unless you have this thing in your hands and you're using it. So yeah, the Lynx is wild stuff. I remember the Lynx was readily using Mode 7 scaling. Games like Warbirds, another flight simulator, where the entire game was like one big Mode 7 scaling project. And at the time, Super Nintendo was doing Mode 7 scaling a little bit. The Genesis, I don't even know if the Genesis was capable. I know that the Turbo Graphics wasn't. It had like simulated Mode 7, but it didn't have actual Mode 7 scaling. And here you are, right in your hands. I believe for the time, this was a very, very powerful system. I can go on and on about the games. I mean, this being an Atari system, I mean, they released just an enormous amount of arcade games for it. Road Blasters, Xenophobe. I mean, this is a fun system. California games. So when I saw this, I was really, really stoked. I mean, and when you get it for $4.99, I was really stoked. There's no game in it. I was hoping there was going to be a game inside of it, because it has this little compartment here. So who knows who's sifting through this stuff? Maybe they don't know. But no game in here. Being that this one is beat up and I want one that's in really nice condition, I think I'm going to do a little project with this. And we're going to post that. I might work on a project with this, and I'll post it up on YouTube. But yeah, man, Atari Lynx. It doesn't have the any of the equipment that comes with it, like the power adapter. But when I had my Atari Lynx, I remember I lost the power adapter. I went to Radio Shack, and I figured something out, and I got it to work. So as long as you know the power specs, which are right here on the back, you could easily wire something up for it. So yeah, that's the Lynx. Great system. I'm sorry, I got a gush. This is a very meaningful system to me. So that's that, guys. Just to keep you guys filled in, we've been having some snow lately, so I haven't been able to work on the Fate machines. That's something that I need to get done, because I'm looking to do a lot more reviews here. But I want the Fate machines to determine which reviews I do. I don't want to pick the reviews. I don't want any of my bias to interfere with reviews. And as a side note, I also stopped watching video game reviews on YouTube altogether, because I don't want any outside opinions affecting my opinion on the games. Which I think I have a pretty good command of that, but you watch reviews on YouTube, and and you start to, I guess, formulate ideas from other people. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep the show really original, and let everybody do their thing, and I want to do my thing over here. So, all right, guys, just figured I'd keep you filled in. Pinhead 1000. I'll see you next time.